It's 5 and 10 from Skywatch TV for Thursday, August 3rd, 2023. I'm Derek Gilbert. Rather sultry day here in the Ozarks. Topic number 5 today, another day, another indictment. Just coincidentally, one day after explosive congressional testimony on Hunter Biden's business dealings with Ukraine, Russia, and China. If you're a coincidence theorist, former President Donald Trump indicted by a federal grand jury after an investigation into his efforts to find a way around the 2020 election results and his actions leading up to the January 6th riot at the Capitol. Special Counsel Jack Smith's office announced the indictment Tuesday evening. Trump charged with 4 counts: conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, obstruction of and attempting to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights. Essentially, what this boils down to is this: Special Counsel Jack Smith is trying to criminalize free speech. It is not clear that anything that Smith alleges in these 4 counts is actually against the law. To establish obstruction, Smith has to prove that Trump's efforts to persuade the electors not to endorse the election or Vice President Pence not to certify the election were corrupt, in the sense that he knew that what he was asking had no factual or legal merit. Okay, so you got to prove that Trump knew what he was doing was wrong and had no basis. The concept of corruption is meant to, obstruct criminal intent, criminal conduct, like manipulating evidence or tampering with witnesses, that sort of thing. It has never been understood to apply to legal theories, as in the attempts by Trump and his lawyers, Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and others, to contest the results of the 2020 election. To apply it the way that Smith proposes is essentially to make our First Amendment rights of free speech illegal. It would also make it very, very difficult going forward for any defendant to mount a legal defense. Even if Trump knowingly lied to try to remain in office, that is not criminal fraud. It would be an impeachable offense, but they tried to impeach him and they failed. Well, they impeached him, but they did not convict twice. So what Jack Smith is trying to do here is the bidding of the deep state, the swamp in Washington, D.C., and they're using the criminal process as a do-over for the failed impeachment trials. Now, could Trump lose and actually be sentenced to time in prison? Theoretically, yes, he could. The judge in this case appears to be rather liberal. I would say almost biased. Having done a deep dive into her record, I can't say that for certain, but she does appear to be a Democrat. And of course, the jury pool in Washington, D.C. voted 9-1 against Trump twice. So it's not likely he'd get a fair hearing here, even though these charges are spurious, just as they are in the other 2 cases. The documents case at Mar-a-Lago, a civil case that's being tried as a criminal case, and in Manhattan, a local district attorney filing federal charges. Again, they're not supposed to, all of these cases should be dead on arrival. The fact that they're not just speaks to what's really at work here. The deep state trying to prosecute somebody who's outside the system, who had the audacity to actually win an election he wasn't supposed to win. Well, this will probably, should this case get to a conviction, it will probably be overturned on appeal, if not at the appellate level, then certainly by the time it reaches the Supreme Court. But Democrats are hoping that this will throw enough sand in the eyes of American voters to keep Trump out of the White House in 2025. Moving on, topic number 4, ammunition for Israel. Israel's Ministry of Defense buying about $60 million worth of 155 millimeter artillery shells. This is meant to shore up Israel's access to the shells that the United States has pulled from stocks in Israel, accessible to the U.S. military and the Israeli military in case of emergency, and sent them to Ukraine. Israel trying to shore up those supplies. This deal is worth about $60 million, and delivery will take place next year. Ukraine is burning through supplies of the 155 millimeter shell, firing thousands of shells per day. But even with that, the counteroffensive has stalled, and it is really exposing the weakness of Well, the Ukrainian military and the ability of NATO to supply Ukraine with what it needs to actually break through the Russian lines. This is a prudent move on Israel's part, especially as they're watching Hezbollah building up its forces on the Lebanon side of Israel's northern border. Topic number 3, coup in Niger. Niger, country in West Africa, has experienced a military coup over the weekend, and it's leading to the prospect of an all-out regional war in West Africa. Sub-Saharan Africa, it's on Monday evening, Mali and Burkina Faso announced that any move by a foreign power to intervene in Niger's military or political situation would result in their military response. This appears to be directed at the Economic Community of West African States, or ECOWAS, which promised on Sunday to take all measures necessary to reinstate the ousted Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum if he's not back in power by the end of this week. So ECOWAS, the states there just to the south and west of Niger, Niger's new military junta, backed by its neighbors to the west, Mali and Burkina Faso, it could draw in other powers because in the sub-Saharan Africa, you've got about 1,500 French troops in Niger and about 1,100 U.S. troops at an air base there in Niger, ostensibly to fight jihadists in the wake of the fall of Muammar Gaddafi in Libya, one of the foreign policy failures of the Obama administration with the backing of NATO, which has led to destabilization in all of sub-Saharan Africa. We may be about to witness an armed conflict in a place where you've got troops from the U.S. and France, bottom line. And why are our troops there? Well, in short, nuclear energy. Niger is one of the world's largest producers of uranium, especially for France. France depending on that source of uranium. It is, in fact, 25% of Europe's imports of uranium come from Niger, and obviously the French would like to see that source of supply remain remain on good terms with Europe, shall we say, rather than shifting to the BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Topic number 2, tuberculosis. Here in the United States, thousands of young illegal migrants with tuberculosis were released from U.S. government custody over a 1-year period. This is according to a new report. All of these migrants under the age of 18 were released to, put this in air quotes, family members or other responsible adults, despite having a latent tuberculosis infection. This is according to a report from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. Dates of release not clear. State officials between June 1st of 2022, May 31st of this year were notified by HHS of the tuberculosis-positive youth over a web-based system operated by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. A person with a latent tuberculosis infection, or infection without symptoms, that is, requires 3 to 9 months of treatment to prevent a potential progression of the disease to a point where it could become fatal. According to experts, according to the CDC, that is, people with the disease are infectious and can transmit it to others. Yet they've been released into the interior of the United States. And as we noted from the New York Times report earlier this year, some 85,000 children have just dropped off the map under Joe Biden's watch. 85,000 minors released into the country and then disappearing from the system. Since Joe Biden took office in 2021, where are these kids? We don't know. CDC, HHS both declined requests for comment. Coming up, don't mess with the manatees. I'll explain why next on 5 and 10.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we want to make sure you know how you can get your copy of this incredible new book in the John Clash special offer. When you order the John Clash special offer, you'll receive his brand new book, The Law of Attraction, a gateway drug to spiritual heroin. This phenomenal new work challenges the very validity of the dangerous Luciferian, heavily popularized ideology that false teachers and gurus describe as the law of attraction. In this book, John also uses a solid biblical framework to debunk the so-called scientific selling points that the law of attraction is predicated on. But that's not all. You'll also receive the amazing DVD Beyond Supernatural that features off-the-record interviews with popular former New Age author and speaker Stephen Bancars, where he details his long history and involvement with the New Age and shares his personal testimony of deliverance through Jesus Christ. And as a bonus, this DVD also includes the entire original Skywatch TV 5-part series on the second coming of the New Age. Also included in this must-have special offer, the 2-part DVD, Occultianity, how the End Times Church is forming now in preparation of Antichrist, where Donna Howell and Allie Anderson walk you step by step through how a silent, complacent church is inadvertently laying the foundation for the bloodiest cult that the world has ever seen. All of these items hold a retail value of $75, yours now for your donation of only $35 plus shipping and handling, so don't delay. You can scan the QR code on your screen using the camera app on your phone for instant access to this special offer. You can also visit us at skywatchtvstore.com or call 1-844-750-4985 and ask for the John Clash special offer right now.
Item number 1 today, it brings to mind the old Sly and the Family Stone song, Hot Fun in the Summertime. It's mating season for manatees, and as such, the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office in Florida has posted on social media a reminder: if you see a group of manatees that appear to be in distress near the shore, rolling about and wallowing in shallow water, leave them be, because they are more than fine, if you catch my meaning. It consists of a bunch of male manatees stumbling over each other to get into position with the female manatee, who just sort of lounges there in the shallow water watching the men go at it, fight it out for the right. Apparently, people unfamiliar with the process have been calling 911, thinking that the manatees were in distress. So Pinellas County Sheriff says, leave them alone. They're more than fine. Their words. And the Florida Fish and Wildlife Commission says, whatever you do, do not try to interfere, because manatees are big and strong. And at this time of year, they have one thing on their minds. And if you interfere, you might get hurt. This week on Skywatch TV, we talk about the law of attraction. It's a different kind of attraction. It's a new age practice that teaches that you can change your reality just by thinking about it the right way. It is, in effect, sorcery. And sadly, it's working its way under different names into the present-day church. Yes, there are church teachings that are essentially based on this new age concept that we can manifest the reality that we want. Well, here's a newsflash. God is not a cosmic Pez dispenser, handing out candy every time you push the button. John Clash has a new book out called The Law of Attraction, a gateway drug to spiritual heroin. And he joins Joe Horn and the Skywatch investigative team for this program. It's important. Please watch it. And if you've not seen the 2 previous programs, go back into the archives. You'll find all of those, including this week's program, at skywatchtv.com. You can also watch it right now at our over-the-air broadcast schedule, which you'll find at skywatchtv.com/channels. The program is also available, along with the archives, on our Roku or Apple TV channels. Add those channels to your set-top box, or you can catch it at our YouTube or Rumble channels right here. Or better yet, download our free mobile app to your smartphone or tablet, whether it's iOS, Android, or Amazon Kindle Fire. We've got apps for all of those devices. And to make things easy, we've got links to their app stores at skywatchtv.com. You'll find the link in the top menu bar at our website. Thank you for watching as we keep watch. I'm Derek Gilbert, and this is 5 in 10 from Skywatch TV.